In this video, we're heading to Kyoto's Railway Museum to check it out and see what's there. So if you want to see that, stay tuned and let's go.
Stop, wait, they never seen an IC1 skate. What the kids are talking stage, I'm only on stage, spotlight on face.
If you like trains, then Japan is the place for you. Everywhere you go, there's always little memorabilia that you can buy for trains, and the culture here for that sort of stuff seems to be absolutely massive. So I'll be quite keen to see what it's like to walk around with one of the national pastimes of Japan. Now, what I mean by the Japanese loving trains, there is all sorts of memorabilia that you can buy, and if you go to any of the stations, stamps are a big thing. So when you do visit here, make sure that you do bring a little book that you can stamp at each station. So each train station in Japan, I think, has a unique and individual stamp, which you can then collect.
Fans stop me on the train like, look mate, I'm doing fine, I'm great. Okay, maybe I'm not.
So the Shinkansen behind me is the first Shinkansen to ever run, and I think they call it like the Series 0, and it was in 1964 at a top speed of 130 miles per hour or 210 kilometers per hour. And today, the latest iteration of the bullet train, or the Shinkansen, runs well in excess of 300 kilometers an hour. The first Shinkansen also ran between Tokyo and Osaka, which is a distance of about 320 miles. So this would have covered the journey in about an hour and a half or so. The train is split out into a couple of different sections. So you've got the regular section here in a 3-2 arrangement. Plus, you've also got something called the green car. And now, the green car is a more premium version of that one, where you get a little bit more leg room and a little bit more space in a 2-2 configuration. Now, that configuration still runs today on the Shinkansens that we've taken so far, where you've got a green car and then you've got the regular class also. With a seating capacity of over 1,300 people, this is completely unheard of in 1964 and in that era of rail transport, especially travelling at this massive rate of speed. And this is so impressive to me that something like this ran at, pretty much the top speeds that some of the trains in the UK run at. There's even a little speedometer which goes all the way from 0 to 250 kilometers an hour. This is located in the buffet cart. Looks like we can check out the Shinkansen.
Hey Slides, what you doing?
You can see on where the carriage itself sits that you've got this air spring here, which is for a more comfortable ride. But when you look at this, it's obviously on a scale model, and then you look at it in what it looks like on actual size. We're just lining up to go inside what looks like the carriage, or the driver's carriage, in the Shinkansen, all the way back in 1964. The train itself is really impressive, and it's actually quite wide. Obviously the trains run on sort of like a standard gauge, and you're limited in what you can and can't do. It'd be quite cool to go inside and have a look. There we go. I'm going to drive the Shinkansen. I have no idea what any of these controls do, but all I know is that that's 0 to 260 kilometers, and yeah, this is pretty cool. Right, we'll stop this and we'll actually go into the museum now. Okay, here's a bit of a map of the first floor. Now, there are 2 floors in this museum, as you can see by the escalators going up, but over here, these are different categories. We've still got quite an area to cover on this floor. The difference between the designs on these two, which are just big, heavy lumps, and then you've got this one is smooth, sleek. Look at the little windscreen wipers on the back windows. Now behind me is the JR 500 series, and with a top speed of 300 kilometers an hour or 186 miles per hour, it took a journey all the way from Fukuoka to Tokyo in about 5 hours. And if you're driving that journey, it would take you, I think, around 13 to 14 hours. Not sure if that button actually did anything, but it looks like we can go underneath that train. I've never been underneath a train before. I suppose how many people have been under a train before, unless your work is a train tech or a carriage builder. That is a wheel from the Shinkansen there. That is mad. How big is it? So we saw the Zero series Shinkansen first, and this is the advancement that it's made now. This is the 100 series. You can see the differences in the design, and it looks a bit more aerodynamic than the first one, which looks like it was modelled after just a big lump of a plane. Now this one doesn't go that much quicker. It was released about 20-25 years after the first one was introduced in Japan, but it does bring a minor speed increase from, I think it was 130 to 140 miles per hour. So not too substantial, but apparently it's a lot more comfortable on the inside. So I'll put the camera up and we'll see what it's like inside the cabin. It's crazy to see the scale and the size of it when you're stood right next to it. When you see it on like pictures, it doesn't really look that big. When you're stood next to it from ground level, where you can see the wheels touch the floor and to the top of it, you can really see how big that train actually is. Now if I press one of these two buttons, you can either put up or put down the electrical contacts. So here we go. Now you can go underneath this one as well, but we're a bit limited on time, so we're gonna have to make this floor quick. I've spent quite a bit longer than I thought I would here. And if you are in Kyoto and you like trains, definitely it's worth visiting. For 1,500 Japanese yen per person, it's not really that bad a price. It's quite good value for money. I've always wanted to know what driving a train looks like. Now they've got 8 different train simulators that you can have a go and try on. So, you know, if you get lucky, for the sake of 100 yen, it's definitely worth it. It looks pretty cool and looks pretty modern too. Beautiful.
Hey Slides, what you doing?
Now we're heading outside, and I think there's a little observation deck or a viewpoint for the trains that are around us and near us, because we are right next to some train lines there. I'm not sure if they're doing little demonstrations or shows of the different steam engines and the different locomotives in the yard. Let's go find out. With that, no smoking. Now that's it from Kyoto Railway Museum, and for 1,500 yen per person, this has been a great experience. We've not only got to go and see a lot of different types of trains and some of the history behind Japanese railways. It's been, you know, a thoroughly good experience. And whilst there are a lot of kids and a lot of the exhibits are tailored for children, some of the exhibits are really well detailed for adults to get a good grasp of how Japanese rail has progressed over the last 100 or so years. Now, hope you've enjoyed that video, and I will be taking a Shinkansen journey soon, so if you want to see a video about that, make sure to subscribe, and if you like this video or if you are thinking of visiting, make sure to have a look at the links in the description below to see some more information that I've written about this place here. If you've got any questions or any other comment, drop them below, but until then, see you next time.